Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is February 22nd, 2021, and this is episode 210. Today we're looking at Sculptor by Scott McCloud. I believe this is a Macmillan publication out on First Second is the name of Scott McCloud's publishing or comic group, whatever you want to call it. This is a recommend. It's also a highly recommend for artists out there. It's because you can learn a lot of lessons in this. You might know Scott McCloud from his seminal nonfiction work called Understanding Comics. He also made one called Making Comics, and then he's done fiction works as well. Now, this story, Sculptor, is about David Smith, who's a down-and-out sculptor whose time's running out, and he meets Meg. She doesn't look like this brick here. This is just kind of a drawing for the cover here. So this doesn't actually happen in the book. Okay. But I just want to get into this really quick. This is, like I said, is a recommend. And it's got some nice panels in it all the way through. So it's broken up into 5 sections. And the key thing about Scott McCloud is he's got this ability to tell sequential art very nicely. And this thing is just filled with it. His look on, or his take on perspective is actually fantastic as well. So just these elements with light and dark and shadow, just everything that goes into here, motion, he seems to be able to capture it with no problem at all, even though his drawings in general are fairly not super detailed. They're fairly simple, but you get a real good sense of what's going on. What happens is David Smith, he's down and out on his luck. He's trying to become a sculptor. He's had some bad breaks. He's had some good luck early on, but that has all seemed to fade away. And he meets this gentleman suddenly who he thinks is his Uncle Harry, and then he realizes that Uncle Harry has actually been dead, and so this is actually death visiting him. And he basically makes a deal with David, saying, I can give you anything you want, but your life will only last 200 more days. And David actually takes him up on it, oddly enough. So first things go bad, but then David realizes he now has this ability to sculpt out of anything instantaneously. And it was kind of a fantasy of his childhood to do this as well. He made a comic book about it. And so first, a few bad things happen to him. He's out of money. He's got rent problems. He hasn't sculpted anything in months. It just goes on, and just bad things. And suddenly he discovers when he's just kind of hit rock bottom, that he can create with his hands just by touching anything. So that's kind of a neat thing. Look at the perspective on here and everything, the way the sun, you could tell it's like late afternoon. Just really neat stuff. You got like the worm's eye view going on there. Get a bird's eye view here. The 3 points perspectives are just awesome in here. He did use models apparently for some of the characters, but I'm not sure when and where, if he took a picture of someone doing this. But he mentions it in the back of all the people he used. So he's got these crowd shots too. I'm not quite sure how he captured these, but it's just wonderful. If I did have a reservation about this story, it's the character of David Smith. To me, I didn't care for him, believe it or not. He seemed, he's this starving artist that's misunderstood, and he seems to push people away, and he's just really into himself and all his troubles, and he seems to be above everybody else. And I believe this shot here was actually posed. They actually went to a mall and they got people to pose and do these things for it. So that helped him out with the drawing on that. So that was kind of an interesting introspect on this. Then he meets Meg, and it's kind of a publicity stunt when he meets her. She flies in with wings on, and she actually has wires attached, but he doesn't see any of this because of the sun. She came in through the back of the sun, and they start a relationship. Now, this book is 488 pages long, so it would take me forever to go through it and tell you everything that happens in it. But the character of Meg is very well written. Like I said, David is kind of hard to take at times. He's just so just depressed and so self-centered, and just does things that, flies off the handle at so many people. It's hard to believe anybody would really accept him. But the book is worth a read for sure, because the story is a good one. It flows well, and it's got a kind of a Brazil. If you've seen the movie Brazil, it's that kind of ending where there's some satisfaction, that takes place at the end there, even though his life, his time has run out here on Earth. But very moving story, very heartbreaking at times. Recommend. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into any more. It was $30 for the hardback, but it is 488 pages. That would be like 24 Marvel comics, and you know how much Marvel comics, like $4. So 24 times $4 is quite a bit. It's it's close to $100, $96. So you're getting all like that many comics worth for $30 in a hardback. I'm sure it'll come out in softback or trade paperback at some point too. So thank you for stopping by and listening to my review of Scott McCloud's Sculptor. As always, please like, please subscribe, and please leave comments. And we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.